Continuing on with our season previews, today we're going to be looking at the Texas Rangers. Again, not too much of an intro here, let's get right into the video. Last year, the Rangers were one of baseball's most active teams in the offseason. They picked up two of the biggest names on the market in Marcus Semien and Corey Seager, and that led many to believe that the Rangers would potentially compete for a wildcard spot, and that didn't necessarily go as planned as they finished the season out at 68-94. So in reality, they were a pretty big disappointment all around. In this offseason, they have again been very active. They picked up three big-name starters in Jacob deGrom, Andrew Heaney, and Nathan Eovaldi. So similar to last year, the Rangers are heading into the season with some pretty big expectations. Now starting off offensively, last year they weren't too great as they had a .696 team OPS which ranked 19th in all of baseball and 198 home runs which ranked 8th. And when looking at this lineup, we have to start with Corey Seager, who last year in his first year in Texas hit .245 to go along with 33 home runs. The average wasn't as high as we're accustomed to seeing with Seager, but he hit more home runs than we typically see from him as well, so it was all in all a pretty solid season. Marcus Semien in his first year in Texas last year hit .248 to go along with 26 home runs and 25 stolen bases. It took Semien a very long time to get going, but in the second half he was one of the best players in all of baseball, and with how he performed in 2021 in Toronto, I think he may carry over that success into 2023. Nathaniel Lowe put up a career year as he hit .302 with 27 home runs and an .851 OPS. Lowe, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated players in baseball today. He was absolutely on fire in the second half, and I think he deserves a lot more recognition. Jonah Heim put together a pretty solid season behind the plate as he hit .227 to go along with 16 home runs. And another very productive bat in this offense is Adolis Garcia, who hit .250 with 27 home runs and 25 stolen bases. Now at third base, it looks like Josh Young is going to get the majority of the reps over there. He's the number 36 prospect in baseball, and last year he wasn't too great as he hit .204 with 5 home runs, but I think he has potential to be much better. They also have Leody Taveras, who last year hit .261 to go along with 5 home runs and 11 stolen bases. As for the last couple spots in this lineup, there's really nothing set in stone. There are a couple players in Brad Miller, Ezekiel Duran, Bubba Thompson, and Mitch Garver who could all get some work, and it's really up in the air at this point. I also want to note that they have a pretty good second baseman prospect in Justin Fosk, who could potentially make his debut this year. He's the number 78 prospect in baseball, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him make the big leagues at some point. So like I said earlier in the video, their offense was okay. It wasn't great last year, and considering they haven't really made any pickups this offseason to improve this lineup, I think it could be the same this year. Now getting over to their pitching, this is obviously their strong suit. Last year, however, it wasn't great as they had a 4.22 team ERA which ranked 22nd in the league. But obviously now they have Jacob deGrom as the ace of the staff. Last year with the Mets in 64 innings, he posted a 3.08 ERA to go along with 102 strikeouts. They also have Martin Perez, who broke through last year as in 196 innings, he had a 2.89 ERA. Jon Gray is yet another quality option in this starting rotation as last year in 127 innings, he had a 3.96 ERA to go along with 134 strikeouts. And another pickup I mentioned earlier is Nathan Eovaldi, who they got from the Red Sox, who last year in 109 innings had a 3.87 ERA. And for their fifth and final spot, it looks like it's going to be occupied by Andrew Heaney, who they picked up from the Dodgers, who in 73 innings had a 3.1 ERA to go along with 110 strikeouts. And even on top of the 5 starting pitchers they also have a couple other options in Dane Dunning and Jake Odorizzi, who could make some spot starts here and there. And to add even more depth to this starting rotation, they also have some prospects in Owen White and Jack Leiter who could make their debut this season. Now moving on to their bullpen, it was actually pretty good as last year they had a 3.72 bullpen ERA which ranked 12th. Now when looking at the closer heading into this season, it looks like there are a couple options, and one of them is Joe Barlow, who last year had a 3.86 ERA to go along with 13 saves. Another good option looks to be Jose Leclerc, who last year had a 2.83 ERA with 7 saves. Each of these two guys have closing experience in the past. If it were up to me personally, I think Jose Leclerc is better for the role, but we will see as time goes on. Now outside of the closer role, they also have a very good reliever in Brock Burke, who was one of the best relievers in baseball last year. He had a 1.97 ERA to go along with 90 strikeouts. And a few other names in this bullpen that I think could have a big impact next season are Jonathan Hernandez and Kyle Cody, who each posted a sub-3 ERA last season. So while there is no set-in-stone closer at this point in the offseason, they have options, and I think this bullpen is going to be just fine. So as a whole, this team made significant strides this offseason, especially with their starting rotation. They picked up the best pitcher in baseball in Jacob deGrom and also picked up a couple other pretty good starters. So 1 through 5, this may be one of the best starting rotations in baseball. Offensively, yeah, they might not be the best, but I think they have potential to be top half in baseball, and with how good their starting rotation and bullpen may be, I think that might be good enough. Now, when looking at the Rangers over the past couple years, they haven't been successful as they haven't won 80 plus games since 2016, in which they won 95 games that season. So it's been a while since Ranger fans have had something to look forward to in terms of baseball, and this year I think they absolutely have something to look forward to. I don't think it's out of the realm that they improve by 20 games off of last year's 68 win season. So for their win-loss record, I think they're going to be in the mid-80s in terms of wins. I think they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot until the very end of the season. Whether they make the playoffs or not, I'm not sure. It really depends on how the rest of the teams play out, but I definitely do think they're going to be in that race in September. So all in all, the Rangers look like they are going to be a very improved team and might be the most improved team in baseball next season, and I can't wait to watch them. Let me know what you guys think down below. As always, I want to thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.